understand it's essentially the same unappreciative crowd full of scumbags from last night.
Hey wrestling fans, welcome to another edition of the Scumbags Wrestling Podcast. My name is Sean, coming to you from London, Ontario, Canada. Be sure to share this on any of the outlets that you get your podcasts from. We're on 15 different ones, including Podcoin, where you can earn money for listening, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, and iHeartRadio. It's another long weekend here in London with being Labor Day, and it's also an important weekend for wrestling. I got family visiting, but that doesn't mean the wrestling world comes to a stop. So I'm going to quickly review what happened last week here in London for Smash Wrestling, and then give my predictions for the NXT UK Cardiff show happening this afternoon, and later on this evening for All Out with AEW. It's going to be a quick show, but we're going to get predictions in and get you all set up for tonight. I'll be right back after this short message. The one and only Tim Curry will be a featured guest at London Comic Con, presented by Start.ca, October 5th and 6th, 2019, the London Convention Center. Are you looking to get into the wrestling business? Well, look no further than the Tyson Dukes Wrestle Factory, located right here in London, Ontario. Tyson has over 20 years of experience in the wrestling world, and he's even been brought down to the WWE Performance Center to be a guest trainer. We've already seen the likes of Jordan James, Kyle Boone, Violet Lee, Jim Strider, Pharaoh Bowman, Chris Mitchells, and many more. Plus, the new generation that are coming from the second group, such as Josh Pine, Shiloh, Nova, Frankie War, and many more. You don't want to miss your opportunity to learn from one of the best in Ontario, if not all of Canada, or the world, in Tyson Dukes. So that's the Tyson Dukes Wrestle Factory. It's open Monday, Wednesday, and Thursdays, and located at 309 Exeter Road here in London.
You hear the rumble in here? The rumble is the sound of progression, and fundamentals are being made at the Wrestling Factory. This is Tyson Dukes, and you're listening to the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast, y'all.
And welcome back to the show. Last week, Smash Wrestling was here in London, Ontario for another TV taping, and it was called Born to be Wild at the London Music Hall. The factory students opened up the show with the debut of Rodney Matthews teaming with Michael Grayson. They defeated the team of Chris Mitchells and Ethan Dukes. Jim Strider defeated Tyler Turba. Von Vertigo beat Idris Abraham. Joe Coleman beat Psycho Mike Rollins, but that was all due to some wonky wishes of Psycho Mike Rollins, because Mike had his magic lamp with him, and it worked against him. He wished for some more time instead of being counted out, and he got that granted to him as he was being piled on with chairs. But later on, he asked for the ref to count faster, and Coleman took advantage of it and rolled him up. Then Mike wished that the result was reversed, and Dustin announced Mike as the winner. So Coleman got the actual pin, but I guess in the rule books or the record books with the wishes, it looks like Mike Rollins got the victory. The Pillars of Brent Banks and Sebastian Suave beat the Revolt. Josh Pine made his TV debut teaming with Kyle Boone. They were doing a surfer and lifeguard gimmick, and they had a video beforehand where Josh Pine was rescuing Kyle Boone. They took on the team of Violet Lee and the Muscle, Physical Attraction. Gail Kim was the special guest referee. Violet ended up rolling up Boone for the victory. Tyson Dukes and Carter Mason were both disqualified in their match as they wouldn't listen to the referee and were battling really hard against each other. Tarek had been attacked earlier in the evening by Halal Beefcake and was removed from the main event to challenge for the championship against Kevin Bennett. Daniel Garcia was once again inserted into this match. Unfortunately, Garcia came up short again in his attempt to take the title away from Kevin Bennett, and Bennett retained the championship. Up next for Smash Wrestling is they're going to be in the Western Fair here in London starting next Friday, and still looking to see what the schedule is for the whole fair, as it's usually about 10 days, and I'm not sure what days Smash is going to be taking part. The other time that Smash Wrestling is going to be in action is September 20th for another Proving Grounds at Fanshawe College. Tickets are available by going to smash-wrestling.com, and you can find out more information about their upcoming events on their website right here on this podcast or their Facebook page. Today at 5 o'clock, you can see some of your favorite Ontario stars as they're in Fort Erie as Border Wrestling presents Takedown. If you're in the area, go check out Border City Wrestling. Breaking news from Dog River. Tara Spencer Nairn, best known as the lovable Constable Karen Pelly from the hit TV comedy Corner Gas, will be at London Comic Con, October 5th and 6th, London Convention Center, presented by Start.ca. Now let's set you up for what you can expect today. Today is full of a lot of wrestling, and you can check out NXT TakeOver Cardiff, happening at 2 p.m. on the WWE Network. Travis Banks takes on Noam Dar. I'm going to go with Travis Banks picking up the victory in this one. Dave Mastiff takes on Joe Coffey in a last man standing match. I'm going with Dave Mastiff to take the victory in this one. These two are going to go long and hard and beat themselves up all over the arena in Cardiff. Zach Gibson and James Drake defend the tag team titles in a triple threat match against Mark Andrews, Flash Morgan Webster, and the team of Gallus, Mark Coffey, and Wolfgang. I'm going to go with a tag title change here, as Mark Andrews and Flash Morgan Webster will pick up the titles. Toni Storm is set to defend her women's title against Kaylee Ray. These two have a long history with each other and really good friends, but there's been some mind games going on. We can only hope that Toni Storm is healed up from her injury that she sustained here in Toronto during the WXW event. And if she has, I see her retaining the NXT UK Women's Championship over Kaylee Ray. And finally, in the main event, Walter is defending the WWE UK Championship against Tyler Bate. This was all set up when Walter's group Gallus took out British Strong Style. This should be a really good match. I wouldn't be surprised if Trent Seven and Pete Dunne did show up at ringside, because Gallus will be near the ring for Walter, but I do see Walter retaining the championship. I have to say I was very impressed by seeing Walter at Smash Wrestling Super Showdown 7, and yeah, the guy is a beast, to say the least, and very agile for his size. Tyler Bate, I love the guy, but Walter is going to retain the championship. So that happens this afternoon, 2 p.m. our time here in Canada, and 7 o'clock in the UK. But that's on the WWE Network. It's NXT UK Takeover Cardiff. On a side note, Cesaro did have a message on WWE.com where he said that he was going to go over to TakeOver to check out and maybe get a little hands-on. So if it's anything like how Finn Balor was on the last NXT UK Takeover card, expect Cesaro to have a match as well today.
Think you got what it takes to beat Kenny Omega? Then grab a controller and let's see what you got. Join an elite group of VIPs. Play some of the greatest retro video games of all time with Kenny Omega. Old school technology meets modern day technique for one heck of a VIP video game party. VIP tickets are on sale now. London Comic Con, October 5th and 6th at the London Convention Center, presented by Start.ca.
And of course, today is the big day for AEW with All Out. It's their pay-per-view. It's a follow-up to last year's All In. It's in Chicago, Illinois, at the Sears Center, same place it was a year ago on the same weekend. This will be the last show that AEW does before they make their debut October 2nd on TNT. Of course, they'll have the pre-show, the buy-in, and 2 matches that have been scheduled to happen on this is a tag team match involving Private Party against Angelico and Jack Evans. Private Party have been very impressive so far, and I see them picking up the victory. Then there's the 21-woman Casino Battle Royale. They did the same thing at Double or Nothing with the men, and Hangman Page won that one. It was a little wonky with how they were presented, because 5 come out at a time, whether your hearts, diamonds, spades, clubs, and then a single person comes out at the end. It doesn't give any originality and personality for each person to come out unless they have figured out how to change that up on this round. But 21 women. The winner of this match is going to be receiving the number 1 contendership like Hangman Page did, and they'll crown the new AEW Women's Champion on the October 2nd show. My pick for this is going to be Dr. Britt Baker. She just recently got cleared to wrestle again after a concussion. She's probably the most highlighted woman on the AEW roster, even though there is people like Allie, Awesome Kong, Amazing Kong, and a whole bunch of other ladies that I can't think of at this very moment, but they still haven't filled out the full 21 women side of things. So there's going to be some surprises inserted in there for sure. Maybe some Chinese or Japanese ladies as well. And as I said, I'm picking Dr. Britt Baker to win. Then we head over to the main show, which is on traditional pay-per-view and Fight TV app. I'm not sure if Bleacher Report Live app is doing it as well on a pay-per-view version. But I'm going to go in order that I am picking things to possibly go. And just made this week on Being the Elite, Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt are going to take on the team of SCU. I see Luchasaurus, Jungle Boy, and Marco Stunt picking up the surprise victory over the veterans SCU. Rio will take on Hiraku Shida for the other number 1 contender spot in the women's division, and I see Rio taking the victory here, setting up Rio versus Dr. Britt Baker on the very first episode of AEW on TNT. There's going to be a triple threat match with Joey Janela, Jimmy Havoc, and Darby Allin. This obviously is going to probably bring out the toys. It's sponsored by Cracker Barrel, and they sponsored the Hangman Page and Joey Janela fight from All In, and that was full of a lot of toys and weapons. and these three really like using those toys and weapons. They teamed together on the last event and blamed each other for the victory. That set up this event, but Darby Allin had an amazing match with Cody Rhodes where he didn't get a victory, but he didn't get a loss either, and I see him picking up a victory tonight against Jimmy Havoc and Joey Janela. So I'm picking Darby Allin in the triple threat match. Cody is going to take on one of his best friends, Shawn Spears. This got set up when Cody made reference to Shawn Spears being a good hand. Shawn took offense to that and whacked him with a chair, cutting him open, and blood spewed all over the place. In the weeks since then, Shawn Spears has added Tully Blanchard as his mentor, as he knows the Rhodes family really well. Cody has not announced who his corner person is going to be. Some speculation has it being Arn Anderson. I think it could be DDP. It could be Brandy, but, I'm leaning more towards DDP. Wouldn't be surprised if it's Arn. And these two guys will go at it in possibly the match of the night. But I do see Shawn Spears getting the victory and maybe putting Cody in his place of him being better than just a good hand. After victories at other AEW events, the best friends Trent Beretta and Chucky T will take on the Dark Order, formerly the Super Smash Brothers, Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. The winner of this match gets a bye in the first round of the tag team tournament that will be starting in October. A lot of people are saying they don't know who the Dark Order is and have not been really impressed with them yet. I've seen them numerous times over the years with Smash Wrestling, and these guys are legit, and I think they're going to take out the best friends. Then we also heard this week that Jon Moxley is out from the AEW All Out pay-per-view as he has another staph infection in his elbow, and so he couldn't participate against Kenny Omega, which is really disappointing because this was going to be one of the best matches, I think, on the card, especially after what happened at Double or Nothing, and unfortunately that's going to have to push pause. They announced on Being the Elite that Pac will replace Moxley and go against Kenny Omega. This is going to be another great match. I see Omega pulling out the victory. Unfortunately, I'm down on the fact that it's Pac because of the fact that I thought Pac was going to show up and interfere in the main event of the world title match. So it kind of takes away the surprise. As far as the match goes, great matchup. Omega for the win. That is unless Jon Moxley comes to ringside because he's still in the area, but he can't wrestle and distracts Omega, and Pac picks up the victory. The Lucha Brothers, Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, are going to take on the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson, for the AAA World Tag Team titles. There's a report that Phoenix might not be in the best of shape, but I don't think that's going to stop them from putting on a tremendous tag team high-flying match that these guys can always do. I see the Lucha Brothers retaining in this ladder match and the Young Bucks moving forward to try and capture the AEW tag team titles. And finally, the main event, we'll see Hangman Adam Page taking on Chris Jericho. This will crown the first AEW World Champion. I would love to see Hangman Page get it because he's a fresher face, but as they want to get eyes on themselves and they have a month until their TV debut, I can see Chris Jericho picking up the victory, and that's where I'm going with, is Jericho picking up the victory. Pac to cost Hangman Page the title still, even though it won't be as big a surprise, and this sets them up with a big name of Chris Jericho going into October 2nd. That doesn't mean that on October 9th, Jericho doesn't drop the title when they in the first defense and hand it over to somebody fresh once they get eyes on the product. But I'm going with Jericho. Of course, in Chicago, everything is there for AEW All Out, but Conrad Thompson has StarCast 3 there. This is day number 3 for StarCast. And if you've already seen some of the stuff on StarCast over the last 2 days, you have seen the AEW mailbag, Cody and Tony Schiavone talking, Dean Malenko with a show, The Art of Wrestling with Colt Cabana, MJF's Lifestyles with Rich and Famous. I believe Marco Stunt was supposed to be on there. Moxley sitting down with JR. And today on StarCast 3 is going to be Mick Foley and CM Punk. So you can watch all of that on the FITE, F-I-T-E, TV app.
My name is The Muscle, Smash Wrestling's hottest free agent. I toss bodies and wheel hotties, and you're listening to the Scumbags of Wrestling podcast.
This is Sting Bassey. You're listening to the Scumbags Wrestling podcast.
Thanks for joining me for this very short edition of the Scumbags Wrestling podcast. I made it short because I want to get you all caught up, and I also, as I said, have family coming over for the weekend. So, you're ready for tonight, whether you're watching NXT UK in the afternoon at 2 p.m. or All Elite Wrestling with All Out at 7 p.m. Just please remember to share this with all your friends. We're on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and many other outlets. Also, check out our Facebook page, Scumbags Wrestling, and our Scumbags Wrestling YouTube channel every Friday for another edition of the production line. I stopped by the Tyson Dukes Wrestle Factory, and we present the future being made now. You see a lot of these guys debuting on Smash Wrestling, and you can see how they put together matches before they get in front of a live audience. So that's the production line every Friday on their YouTube channel and Facebook page. So until next time, thanks for joining me. Enjoy this Saturday full of wrestling, and we'll see you next time and do more actual news and updates on what's going on WWE TV. Plus, we'll review what happened this weekend with UK Takeover and AEW All Out. Have a good one.
Granted, I understand it's essentially the same unappreciative crowd full of scumbags from last night.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.